How to tell the difference. Alaskan Malamute versus Siberian Husky. The Alaskan Malamute and Siberian Husky are remarkably similar-looking breeds. Many people find it very difficult to tell which one is which. Fortunately, there are a few things you can consider when trying to identify these adorable doggos. But first, it's important to understand a little about the history of each breed. Huskies were originally developed by the Chukchi people of northeastern Siberia. They were developed to pull relatively lightweight sleds across snow and ice for days on end. Because food was scarce, they needed to be efficient dogs who could survive on very few calories. Malamutes, on the other hand, were originally developed by the Malamute people of northwestern Alaska. Malamutes were also tasked with pulling sleds, but they had to pull much heavier loads over shorter distances. If Huskies are like race cars, Malamutes are like 18-wheel trucks. Now that you know a little about the history of these breeds, we can share some clues to consider when trying to ID them. ID clue number 1. Size and build. Huskies are medium-sized dogs with thin and athletic builds. Small Huskies may only weigh 40 pounds, while the largest individuals rarely exceed 60 pounds. Malamutes are quite a bit larger than Huskies, and they have heavier builds. Most Malamutes weigh at least 75 pounds when mature, and the largest individuals may reach 90 pounds in weight. ID clue number 2. Coat. Both breeds are famous for their beautiful double coats, but their coats differ in a few ways. Husky coats are smooth and usually lay flat. Most importantly, their coats are usually the same length all over the body. However, the Malamute's coat is rough and often longer near the neck, shoulders, and back. ID clue number 3. Tail. Both Huskies and Malamutes have fluffy tails, but Huskies usually hold their tails low, while Malamutes curl their tails up over their backs. ID clue number 3. Head. Huskies and Malamutes also have slightly different head shapes. The Malamute's head is thick, roundish, and features a heavy muzzle. Meanwhile, the Husky's head is lighter, narrower, and has a thinner muzzle. Their facial markings can also provide clues. Huskies often have a stripe running down their face, while Malamutes often display a widow's peak. But there are exceptions, so be sure to consider several other clues. ID clue number 4. Ears. The ears of Huskies and Malamutes also display a few differences. Malamute ears are slightly rounded, fairly short, and spaced widely on the head. But Huskies have tall, pointed ears that are set close together. ID. Clue number 5. Eyes. Eye color won't always tell you which breed you're looking at. Both breeds can have yellowish or brown eyes, but Huskies may have 1 or 2 blue eyes, something purebred Malamutes never have. ID clue number 6. Personality differences. Huskies and Malamutes also display a few personality differences. These differences aren't always helpful for distinguishing between the two breeds, but they're worth considering. Huskies are often incredibly vocal, and they're usually a bit silly. They also tend to get along well with other pets. Malamutes are often considered a bit more protective than Huskies, and they're calmer. Malamutes don't always get along with other dogs, particularly members of the same sex. What do you think? Can you tell a Husky and a Malamute apart? Time for a test. Let's see what you learned. ID test number 1. Is this a Husky or a Malamute? It's a Husky. Those blue eyes are a dead giveaway. ID test number 2. Is this a Husky or a Malamute? It's a Malamute. Check out that tail held curled over the back. ID test number 3. Is this a Husky or a Malamute? It's another Malamute. Note the widow's peak and heavy build, especially the legs. ID test number 4. Is this a Husky or a Malamute? It's a Husky. Note how her fur is all the same length. She also has 1 blue eye. ID test number 5. Is this a Husky or a Malamute? You tell us! Share your answer in the comments. What do you think of these two breeds? Which one would you rather have as a pet?